January meeting of the Urban Forestry Committee to order. We will start with a roll call to start. State your name.
Jeanette is real president.
Anna.
Jim Scott.
Jim Long.
So we do have a quorum. Just want to let our new member know we welcome you to our tree club, we like to call it. This meeting is probably a lot less formal than many of the town meetings. So, and we normally have nobody in attendance, so we just kind of talk and chat, and feel free to ask questions. You know, if you're interested in minutes from prior meetings, that they're all, if you look at the town website, yeah, you can go back, you know, several years and kind of see what we've done. So we just welcome you. So the first thing we need to do is elect our officers for the year. And we can either do that individually, or somebody could just make a motion to retain the same officers as last year. I was president, Joe vice president, and Kim secretary.
I'll make a motion. The recent change.
Second that? Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. So we can continue with real business now. We do have two sets of meeting minutes to define. Trees, we didn't have December. So, yeah, so go back to September, if anyone can remember back that far. September's. I'll second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Minutes also. Those in favor say aye. Okay, so we do have some old business, and I'm going to turn it over to first one, please. Thank you for all the hard work you did last week. I went back and looked through the report to the town council and everything that we accomplished. So
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I really love this committee. I've learned a lot being a part of this committee, and I think it's been extra special because we are learning and growing together and getting to make relationships and outreaches out to our community. So I just love all the ideas that all of you come up with, and being able to then just see it happen and come to reality. It's just been a joy for me. So thank you for all of what you all do. I mean, you guys helped me a lot. So thank you, Carol. I also do want to note on the record that the oath was taken from Dr. Lau as a new member. Jeff Graham, our counsel, came in right before the meeting and took his oath. So he has signed that document. He was able to attest that for Dr. Lau. So all of his votes and everything is a good standing.
so we are a team.
Yes, yes. And again, I want to also just echo what Carol said. We welcome you. Thank you so much for your interest in serving in this board, and we couldn't be more excited to have you a part of this.
Thank you.
The first was only old business that we have. Wanted to give you a little bit of a recap from our 2023 Tree City USA Award. So that award is given by Arbor Day Foundation. That is a national organization that we go through to obtain this recognition. We now have been recognized for 13 years. You see it kind of here at the bottom of the screen, 13 years, and of course counting. So we're hoping that 2023 will represent our 14th year as a Tree City USA. And just the more that I've been in this field and learning about the urban forestry and those communities around us, there are even a lot of large cities that haven't even been recognized for that many years. So I think for the town of Pendleton to be able to say 13 and should be hopefully going on 14 is something to be very proud of. So, very much appreciate all those who have been here since 1993. That was the first year that this board has been established. And we have a member that has been here since then too. So that's Jeanette Isbell. And so we've had a lot of great men and women serving on this board and expect great things to continue to happen here. But for the Tree City USA recognition, just a little bit of a recap, there's 4 components that we have to meet, 4 criteria that we have to check off. And one is that we do have an active and existing tree board that needs to meet on a regular basis. It doesn't say that it has to meet every month, but it needs to show some repeat and routine scheduled meetings that board comes in at least probably like on a quarterly basis. I would say would be like the minimum. But we do have that active board. Very excited that we're becoming more and more active, more and more hands-on in the last 5 years. Rachel Christensen, I think, was a great, very instrumental in getting this board very active. So I commend her. I look at her as a mentor in several different ways, but even with this board, she really had a great impact on this board. Tree care ordinance, we have one in place. We've had one since 1993. We're going to talk about a little bit of it tonight, but it was amended in 2018 and then again in 2020. We did just some amendments as far as the membership piece of that. But the 2018 under Rachel Christensen was really expanded. Those expectations of care and maintenance were really exemplified and expanded. We had Taylor Metz, who is a professor at Wall State University, and between him and Rachel and our representatives from Indiana DNR, they really did a great job in building that ordinance. Then the third component is having an annual budget of at least $2 per capita. So last time that we applied, we had like 4,700 plus was our population. So we needed to at least double that. This past year, it did go up in the census to, I think, 4,840 is our number. And so that is what our census, our count is based on. Our population is truly somewhere around, we anticipate around 5,000 to 6,000 because of the new neighborhoods, but they aren't reflected in that last 10-year census. But as you can see before you, we well surpassed our minimum. So we not only reached 10,000, didn't, not only reached 50,000, 100,000. We actually, when you go through the application process and with everything that can be accounted for and accredited to that final expenditure number there, we came up with $195,038 is what we spent. So a lot of that, and it's broken down there in the lines below. So a lot of that is from our utility line clearance. So that is removing trees or trimming trees directly under our utility or electric lines. But then we also have other conflicts with utilities or streets or public sidewalks. That the other component was the tree maintenance, and that's at 73,000. That's more of our routine pruning and our vegetation growth treatments and so forth. So those two, I would give credit to mostly to Craig Switzer. Craig Switzer's electric supervisor, and he works very closely with our plant growth management that manages our trees in those utility and easement places throughout our town. when Scott Resky was the town manager, he came in 2020, right before I started working here at the town full time. And he asked, what is your biggest need? And Craig said, we need to start taking care of our trees. And from there, they worked with plant growth management, and to start, because it had been so many years behind being cared for, they were spending $250,000 plus just for not even touching our projects or education or any piece of our committee, just for those utility line clearance needs and tree removals and pruning. There was like $250,000 a year. So the goal was to continue to reduce that amount, and we continue to do that each year. And so then this past year, there was probably about $150,000 spent on the maintenance. And then the rest of it is part street department supervisor, their work that they do, a lot of in-kind, in-house work. Salary for the assistant planning director, which is my role, which is over the urban forestry committee, and then also our tree plantings and any education that we participate in or any projects that we provide. So all in all, came to $195,000, and so per capita, we spent $40.30 per person.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
We were somewhere around, I think, 42 last year, which I anticipate to go down, and that's because of our plant growth management costs that went down last year. So my goal is, and I just realized that I did not put this in our sheet here. I will share that with you next month. Our 5-year budget that I included with the application for our Tree City USA. We created a 5-year outlook on our budget starting in 2023 through 2027. And we wanted to mirror our inventory program that we do now with plant growth management. So that and that is also in with those figures. That's in that tree maintenance figure as well. $15,000 the town has allotted to allow a certified arborist to come in, take one section of the town per year for a 5-year rotating cycle to analyze on the ground 360 degrees of the tree, looking at their diameter, how they change, if there's any pruning or removal needs, if there's any maintenance needs, as well as just showing a change in condition to where they can prompt us whether or not attention needs to be. So that has been, I think, this past year, a great success for the town and our committee, because it really makes a good working plan. And Tanya, she actually just reached out to me today. She and her company, they're going to start doing that and offering that for other communities as well. So I told her that, we would be more than happy to answer any questions that they have, offer any type of recommendation. I think she did a really good job getting a good working system last year. And so last year, so Dr. Lau, we basically took the entire town of Pendleton jurisdiction, and we just cut it into 4. So mainly most of them are in that downtown area, that northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest quadrants. And so we're going to rotate those one every 4 years, but then the 5th year will be the outlining areas, because they're less and few far between public trees. So their assessment of either a street tree or trees on public land. So that would be town property, park property, the cemetery, the golf course, and the park in general. So it's an exciting program, and I'm excited to then see round 2. We'll start this next year, and she's most likely going to be doing the southeast corner, because that will touch the golf course, and that will finalize all of the park land, and then that way we'll have all those done in years 1 and 2, and then she'll start working.
Is there any way that we can get a copy of this? I think that's got some really good
Yeah,
information
yes,
on it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's,
could print those off and,
that would be interesting to compare.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I could even give you the presentation of the numbers, a little bit more in detail this year, but I can get you the 2023 or 2022 application too from last year.
Well, and I think just because, I mean, higher than, just because the number's lower than last year doesn't mean it's bad. It means that we've got the system going and we're being more efficient with
Yeah.
what we're doing. So, yeah, so maybe your $40.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it really is pretty amazing for calculating.
Yeah.
I mean, really when you stop and think
I know.
about it.
That's,
yeah, it is. So yes, kudos to all of you. You'll see the breakdown as far as how many trees we actually planted. That count, excuse me, it involves trees that were planted at our bicentennial.
Making me want to call, so.
I'm sorry. I knew it was gonna happen. We have to talk for a little bit. I do apologize. I don't think anyone's on.
that
line.
includes Franklin Street. We did Franklin Street. And we
Yes.
did, yeah, the trees that we planted for the bicentennial.
Yeah.
And we replaced,
They're in the park.
yeah,
The school. And the school.
The school, the Franklin Street was the year before,
Oh, that's right, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
but yes, the bicentennial for those that were in our boundary.
Yeah.
Included that, and then, but it did not include all the 200, just our area. And then, park, they planted the playground trees, so those were included, and then they had several other trees. I do apologize. I'm so
You need a
sorry.
cough drop or something? I've got one.
Do you? I might take it.
I've always got some.
A Ricola.
Yeah. No, or you can have a hose.
You can have
I'll take that. I do apologize. I knew. It's been well sensitive. Okay.
I really enjoyed the Franklin Street project because you could talk to people, you know, and we got most of them that we talked to were really pleased and appreciative and learned a little bit more about how we deal with trees, you know. And I really enjoyed that.
It was a good project.
I'm always amazed at those fourth graders and how interested they are. We plant a tree at the elementary school and the fourth grade class comes out and we does a little bit of education, but they're very interested in it. I mean, they're
Yeah.
very attentive and
They're really into it.
yeah,
And smart.
Yeah,
They're
they're
really,
smart.
you talk about the benefit of trees and.
And they know, yeah,
Mhm.
they know,
And hopefully they carry that with them.
yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, that is one of a great project. We do that usually in the fall, Dr. Lau. And then we'll just work with the elementary. The first year we did a northern red oak tree. The second year was a Shebo oak, and then this last year was a heritage oak tree. So we plant that around the perimeter of the playground, and they can see that tree grow as they grow throughout the year. So we do that for the fourth graders. And that is what is that fourth component of our Tree City USA. We can celebrate anytime during the year. It doesn't have to be on Arbor Day or each spring. We choose to do it in the fall because it puts less burden on the school to have to water it throughout the summertime. So then that way it gives them that fall and then that winter time and spring to have a good start to it.
So how
For that
does-
crop.
How does the tree determine what type of tree to be planted?
Yeah.
How did that determine?
For the school project, we actually, 3 years ago, we reached out to Eric Schill. He was the principal at that time. And he loves northern redwoods. And he wanted a tall, big, large canopy tree. And so he asked for the northern redwood. And then the second year, reached back out, asked him, what type of tree he'd like for us to get. We get it through Bluegrass Farms. But he said northern redwood. And so we kind of talked about it, I think a few of us, and we asked, would he be open to having a different oak tree? And he said, sure, I'll be open. So we got a group of what they had on stock, and he chose the shingle oak tree. And then this last year, we've got Melissa Hagerman, she's the new principal. And so we gave her a list of oak trees, and so she chose the heritage oak tree. And we thought it was good for Christmas in Pendleton, this kind of heritage days, or kind of, I forget kind of what the theme was, but it was similar to that. So we thought that was fitting for this year. And then we'll talk about it in a little bit, but we're getting ready to do a new project with Pendleton Elementary, and it's all about oak trees. So it's kind of cool, the fact that every tree that we've planted so far within the last 3 years is an oak tree. But yeah, so this year, the projects we put in for the Tree City USA application was, we did an Arbor Day celebration. It was kind of an Arbor Day / Earth Day there at Citizens Plaza. We had some community organizations come out and just talk about trees, and the Anderson City Parks, they handed out tree saplings. And then our Madison County Stormwater Partnership was there, and the Urban Forestry, we just kind of tagged along and shared about the benefits of trees and what benefits they give to stormwater management. So we did that this last year, and then of course then the big Madison County Bicentennial Tree Planting Project, which was really a cool project, and we had 13 communities all over Madison County that received anywhere from 2 trees up to about 40. I think City of Anderson received about 45 trees. So altogether, we planted 200 trees countywide. This is a really neat project. So that was inputted. The volunteer hours were comprised of all of the hours from you all as a board member to all the events, the farmers market, and then also with that tree planting project. And then that's what difference it gave us in the total line number. That set $31.80. That is just a number that came calculated through in the application process. So you put in the 275, it gave a numeric number and increased that that total line item for $195,000. Good news is that this year they've gone through a different type of online application, and it will keep track of years prior to. So that was really neat to see. We've never been able to obtain any years prior. And probably within about a week, got a kickback that the Indiana DNR has approved us as a Tree City USA. So they've given a thumbs up, but now it's up to Arbor Day. They will review. Now, in the last couple of years, it takes until about March to get word if we are awarded that recognition. So they didn't indicate that it would change with the new format. I don't know, but hopefully here in another couple months that we'll receive word. We are not supposed to get a new tree or a new flag this year. I've been told that we get it every other year, but we do have last year's flag to be hung up at the park. They had, when they hung up the new American flag in July, they hung up the flag from the previous time that it had been given. because of the flagpole not working right. So they said that this coming July, when they put the new American flag up, they'll put our new flag up, and then we'll get a picture. And
Good.
we'll get that with all of us that, you know, in that, and get that on our Facebook. So. All right, so that's all I have for old business. Thank you very much, Carol, for the cough drop. I appreciate that. My goodness. Check your, make sure Gary's not. New business, have a couple of matters. First is our DNR Arbor Day poster contest. So on this one, this is a new program that the Indiana DNR is offering. This is Rachel and Jacob. They're a great team. I really think that they're going to do some amazing things for our state together with the trainings that they're offering, with the programs, and then even with their grants. So we'll talk about the grants here in a little bit, but this is a program that just kind of came through as a news blurb, and I sent it out to our Pendleton Elementary to see if their fifth graders that grade would be of interest to participate. Kim Collier is the teacher, and she real quickly, replied and said, yes, we want to do this. So that was before Christmas, and she just said she'd touch base after Christmas break. But the gist of this is that all fifth grade students can participate. So they can participate in their own school contest. Even homeschool students can even submit their own individual submittal on this. But the theme for this year is going to be oak trees, superheroes of the forest. It has to be original artwork. So it has to be either paint, sketching, markers, crowns, colored pencils. They cannot cut out anything in magazines. It can't be any character that is known or is copyrighted. So it has to be original work, but they can put it on a poster size board. And then the idea and probably what we'll end up doing is we'll have a school-wide, not school-wide, but fifth grade contest. And then it'll narrow down, judged by a panel that we'll talk about who will kind of, who that panel would consist of. But I anticipate that it'll probably be maybe their principal and a couple of their teachers or something. And most likely, one or two from the committee here. So if you're interested in being on that judging panel, let me know. I think it would be a lot of fun. And you would narrow it down to one winner. And then that winner, that poster will be submitted. It has to be submitted, has to be digitized and scanned in and sent into the state by March the 1st. So we have about 6 weeks to get this all wrapped up and done. But we're going to meet on next Wednesday, January the 24th at the school from 10 to about 11, meet with the fifth grade teachers. I would love for any of you who wants to come and help brainstorm, come up with ideas. I plan to have the contest rules, even some, education material that they can use. We need to define kind of the timeline and just the approach of how we want to go about it. But kind of hear what their thoughts are on it and come up with a fun contest for the kids to come up with a poster that it has to be themed and relevant to oak trees and what the benefits that they offer our environment, ecosystem, and so stuff. There's prizes. There's first, second, and third place winners that the state will award. The first place winner, the student gets, it's kind of broken down, but they get a picture on the Facebook, on their website. Then they also have a gift card they're getting, and then a book about exploration of trees. And then their school, their teacher's going to get a kit with some educational materials about trees that they can use in their curriculum. As well as there is a Natural Resource Teachers Institute in June of this year that teacher will get a free scholarship to attend that. It's in somewhere in Indiana, it's at a park. Now I'm forgetting what the park, I think it is Morgan Monroe State Forest is where they're going to host that. And they get even education hours, continuing ed hours. So their teacher could go to that free. And then second place and third place, they also will receive that book, and then recognition. Really neat. And then those teachers also get those education tickets. So if any of you are free to come and join, and if Carol said come,
I think I'll have to work that day.
okay, yeah.
What
Okay.
time did you say?
10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then down below, we'll meet at the intermediate school there. You can park there, kind of the south end of that image there, but just go in that front door. We'll just go on up there a little bit before 10. Just need to have an ID on you just to be able to get in. We'll meet with Kim and her crew and come up with some fun ideas. And I'd like to be able to put it on our committee Facebook page. Dr. Lau, we do have a Facebook page for our committee. So I'll share that with you too when we meet. And I just started that back up, starting continuing pruning tips for this winter. And I need to keep that going. So I think it's been a great addition to our committee and want to see that built this next year. But put that on there as well as on the town website. I think that gives some good recognition about that. In there.
School.
Mhm.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. Maybe something that I can get a little basket or something, fun from businesses or something locally or. I'll see what some options that we have to with our promotions budget or if there's some things we could do. Okay. All right, then the second new business is we've got amended urban forestry ordinance. We don't have to make a decision on this at all this evening. You can think about it, but if you want to kind of discuss and bounce some ideas about this, but we have always operated with a 7-member urban forestry board. Starting in 1993, that was the first ordinance. Then the second ordinance was in 2018. It continued that 7-member board. Then we were finding that we were having a difficult time meeting quorum to have a full official meeting. So we decided that it'd be easier to always have 3 attend. And so that was always the majority that we needed to meet that quorum requirement. So we reduced it to 5. And we did that in 2022. And it seems to have worked very well. We usually always are able to have 3, 4, members. And so that's worked great. But we have had some thought. Town council president have proposed this idea. And so I wanted to share that with you to get your thoughts on it. Talked with Carol a little bit about it the other day, and so I wanted to present it to you all to kind of decide. The idea would be that we, just like the Historic Preservation Commission, they have 1 non-voting member. So if we wanted to ever entertain that idea, we can add into the ordinance, and it could be a shall to where we have to have those spots filled, or a may that could be just as option if we have individuals in our community that want to serve in that capacity. We spoke with Jeff Graham about it. He said it would be an easy update to the ordinance if the board did decide they wanted to do this. He recommended to have the terminology of the ex officio, which in Latin is from the office. that represents either someone that is a non-voting advisory role to the board. And that person could either be someone who has been a part of the board for a long time and has a lot of advice and mentoring that they can give the board going forward. Then the other is that because they serve on a current role or position that would benefit the community or the committee. So that could be someone that is just a community member. It could be someone that is very heavily involved with the park, that we work with a lot on the memorial trees, and most of the trees, public trees, are within the park system. Someone who is in the profession, that works in that area, that line of work, that could give us some, insight and expertise, along the way. So like I said, you could word it in as, and I just kind of put some quick verbiage there, what we could add into the section. This snippet down below is what addresses how our wording is of our current ordinance. It just references the 5 members. But we can do that. There has been some interest in individuals that work for the park to be a part of the board in this capacity, and then as well as community. So I'm just gonna let you speak.
To me is to be able to get some more expertise on the board, but not have to rely on them to have to be here every month, so that we have to forum. And so, not that, I mean, we don't vote on, I mean, more would just be to have their expertise in there. Help us along. Yeah, but like I said, if they can't come every month, then we're not scrambling around trying to get them, because we know we've struggled with that for a couple of years.
I can see advantage of it, definitely.
Yeah.
Just on an advisory. type.
Yeah, advisory, yeah. And maybe for them too, that it's a big commitment to say, yes, I'm attend every month. It's a big commitment, and that would give them kind of a way to be able to be part of it without having to make that commitment to have to be, because there could be different times of the year, depending on what their expertise is, that they just can't get here.
Taylor comes to mind.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
his knowledge is so much that, and his time commitments were the problem. for
Yeah,
many of us. But I mean, he wouldn't even have necessarily be at a meeting if he had something we needed to discuss and we wanted his opinion on it.
Yeah.
He could do it.
Yeah, you can zoom in or whatever, or just get with Denise.
You know.
Yeah, but
It's
still,
he comes
but
to
still
mind
make,
as somebody that we
but
can
make him
vouch for.
feel like if
You know,
he's contributing.
If he would have the time, I would love to. He knows so much. I mean, he has so many good ideas and has so much knowledge about it.
Oh, yeah, I think I know.
I hope,
I would
and there
hope
could
he
be,
would.
I've still thought that, maybe someone from the park would be a good person too, because so many trees
Yeah,
are.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we do this, and I do like that in May, that it's not a requirement, but if we feel like there's somebody that would be beneficial to our team, and if there isn't, then we don't have to.
Right, exactly.
So
It's
it
not
really
like-
gives us
Yes,
that
that's,
flexibility.
yeah.
In our current ordinance, it says community, it doesn't say that the members of this board have to live or reside in the town of Pendleton. However, we will, or I know that the town council will generally appoint someone, if we have a willing individual, appoint someone that lives within the town. But this role, if there's some good justification, say they work at the park, or they volunteer at the park, or for some reason, because of their profession, it would allow us to then say if they live within South Madison community, or just the Pendleton zip code, to pull individuals, So are you-
A no table.
Mhm.
So you did talk to Marissa about it? She
Yes.
was open to that?
She was the one that
With the
proposed.
project proposal.
She's the one that brought it up. There was more, there was a few individuals that within our community that expressed interest in being a part of the board. And so she had brought that up and we checked with Jeff Graham and he said it would be fine. It'd be an easy fix that we can add into however the board felt appropriate. We wanted to keep with the May and
I would prefer to.
That makes us all feel a little more
And then,
on,
and then,
you know, on both sides.
yeah, and up to two, because maybe. Especially depending on what project we have.
Yeah.
We may have a project down the road that we do need some kind of special expertise on, and then just kind of think it just kind of. Sort of,
I'm sure as time goes on, we'll have more special projects like the Franklin's. There'll be other special events, you know. Yeah, I think that'll be a continuing, yeah, especially with all of the.
So do we need to vote on that? Make a motion?
yes. And then before you do though, terms. What I've been told, you usually throw in some type of term and usually it's consistent with, I know that that's kind of how the appointment to HPC, it's the same term length as a regular voting member. Okay. So instead of it's just not like a come and go, but yet doesn't mean they have to exercise that
They could resign,
appointment.
they can resign
anytime.
anytime.
Yes, yes.
And what are the terms?
Oh,
of our
ours is 3
appointments?
years. 3 years,
okay.
yes. Uh-huh. So yes, you can ask for a
Yeah,
motion.
so I will entertain a motion to add wording to ordinance that street two ex officio voting advisory members for the community by the town council president with approval of the town council. Voting and other members shall serve without compensation. Term will be
I'll make
Or
a
you
motion,
make the
I'll
motion.
make the motion, I'll make the motion.
awesome. All right, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Perfect. Okay. Well, I will work that up and we'll have it ready to present at the February town council meeting.
So we need to start thinking.
Yes.
Already came up.
So probably anticipating that in the March town council meeting, we'll have those.
Okay, so the February town council meeting is on.
The 8th? Might be wrong on that.
Well, this is an odd month because.
Yes, it's the 8th.
It's the 8th.
You ain't changed. It ain't changed.
Just for me.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
I was just saying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, I didn't mean to.
So February 8th is the town council meeting.
Yes. So
And then
we'll,
this board meeting will be February the 15th.
Yes, yes, so we have a short.
Six or 6 o'clock.
So it is the council.
Correct.
So we're supposed to be going to the town council meeting.
If you would like, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to,
Okay.
but if you're free and like to come and show your support, you know, in that amendment, you're more than welcome to. I can present it and then I'm sure it'd be a pretty easy, quick, decision on their part, but I think they've got a lot of faith in you all, so trust your opinions on that. And I know we already have Marissa Skaggs, the president. So
They're probably
and I'll discuss with her if she wants to wait till the March to appoint, or if she wants to do it prior to that. I'll leave that up to her.
Yeah.
After she wants to.
Could we, like, for example, will this be flexible enough that, say, we start out mainly on one advisor, but then on into the year, perhaps into the fall, we feel like we maybe need another advisor? Can we do that, or do we have to wait?
Well, so we would probably, if we write it up to two, we would be at the max of two. So.
But we wouldn't have to wait till the beginning, we wouldn't have to wait till January.
Correct,
Oh,
yes,
we would
yes,
not
yes,
have-
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, at any time that vacancy or open spot can be filled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we just have one to start,
Yeah.
at any time when we find another.
Okay.
Yep. I will get that going and get that rolling. And just wanted to kind of share with you just some upcoming projects, things that are kind of in my forecast that just want to share with you all. And just know that here in the next couple months, we'll be having some of these pieces in our new business. But first, the Madison County Stormwater Quality Partnership, they voted in this last week to have that rain barrel piece, educational piece this coming spring as their public outreach event. So we are getting with the City of Anderson, the same event from last year, the Earth Day, Arbor Day event. But our goal is if we can get the schools to help us out, and we're reaching out to the schools, getting a survey to them to see if the art departments can help us with the painting of those rain barrels. So we have 13 communities that expressed interest that they want the rain barrels, and we have about 8 or maybe 9 or 10 different schools that we're going to reach out to see if they can do about 1 or 2 of those rain barrels. I know that the high school here at Pendleton Heights has said that they could, easily do 2 or 3. They have the paint, they have the workers and the students, the laborers. But we need to get confirmation from all the other schools as well. The rain barrels are funded by the Stormwater Partnership. So they are ordering those for $55 a piece. So they're going to get those in here in the next month, and then we'll distribute them out to the art departments and then have them painted and ready. Hopefully all of them will be able to have a, fun spring project, and then we'll have them on display at that Citizens Plaza, if that's the same place they're going to hold it as they did last year.
I think that's a great. I agree. I really like this.
They did vote, if the students would like to highlight the bicentennial from last year, they can. But we're not going to make that a requirement just because it's kind of post the bicentennial year. But we're going to make it a requirement that they need to highlight the community that they're creating or painting the barrel for. So if there's a historical significance, or if there's, might be the, like the Arabian, or the different school logo type things, then they can highlight that, or say the falls here. If there's something that's significant, special about that community, they're going to have that flexibility and creativity allowance to be able to do whatever they feel is appropriate for that community.
Now, what's the age on that?
It will probably keep just high school.
Just high school?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. They talked about reaching out to middle school art departments if we struggle in finding the high schools, but we've got Alexandria High School, Elwood, LaPel, Franklin, Anderson, Pendleton Heights, and that serves Town of Ingalls and Marpleville. And then we also have Madison Grant that falls with Erastus and Summitville, I think, somewhere up in there. And then we're also going to reach out to APA and the preparatory school there, and then the Liberty Christian. There's another private school, I can't remember who was mentioned, but
That's
Yeah.
very.
yeah, it's another Christian academy or something in Anderson. I forget their name. So there, it seemed like there was enough that we feel like that we can get. We just need to confirm that they have the paint that they, would have accessible. If not, we'll have to see if we have funding to pull. So that is kind of in the works right now. Then Falls Park Memorial Tree Program. They are working on filling the full-time role there at the Parks Department. And that full-time role will do a lot of their administrative work, but then they're also going to do some grant program exploring and so forth, as well as doing some activities. And so that individual, what we've been informed, will kind of help facilitate the memorial tree program. So once that person is kind of comes in and gets settled here and acclimated the next month, then I'm going to be meeting with them. We're going to make our tree keeper accessible to them to be able to update as they do their plantings and so forth. I know that last year Tanya was finding a lot of trees that weren't in the system, so we'll work all that out, and we're going to put the memorial trees in on tree fall. Right now it's just hit and miss on some of them. So that's a goal for this year. Then this spring or summer, I need to get in contact with staff at Hayes Arboretum. But when we went to that tree steward program in Richmond, there is a arboretum in Richmond that we really would like to have a field trip. So I'm going to find out the best time. If spring is a good time when trees are in bloom, or in summer. But I would love for all of you, if you all made a road trip up there, because I would love to start working this year, next year on a mini arboretum for our camp along in the trail system. So I think it'd be great to be able to see. It's a decent sized arboretum is what I hear. But I would like to be able to start getting some ideas, and so if we could do a little road trip. And so let me know your availability. I don't know if it's, I think it was open on the weekend. I can't remember. I should have looked that up today.
When
I
is
didn't.
spring break?
Spring break is a
March.
little early. Yeah, I'm not for sure if that would be the best time. I'm
Yeah.
thinking at least we
I
might
was
wait till
thinking-
about April to
Yeah.
get
I
some of
think
those
it's the
slimming
week of
trees.
May, March 18th.
I was thinking that would, yeah.
Yeah, but it would be nice for Joe. That's why I'll make sure Joe can go.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll just take a day.
okay.
There you go.
Or you can bring your
We
little
have-
one.
They'll be out of school at the end of May.
Okay.
So I'd be
Yeah.
all June, July.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be a good time.
Yeah.
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 You can have baby, you can have take a day off.
Yeah,
Babysitting.
thanks. You can bring your grandsons with you. But yeah, so I will look into that.
I usually work Tuesday, I always work Tuesday. Friday, or sometimes Friday and Saturday, just depends on who. But Tuesday is, I always work Tuesday. And you know, I could do it. I know the boss.
That's always good when you.
Yeah.
So like,
We
Maybe I
should we should be able to work around
Monday or
people's
Wednesday.
schedules.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll do like Monday or Wednesday. I'll check to see if, what their open hours, and let you guys know. Okay. Then we'll do again the Arbor Day celebration again, like we talked about earlier tonight about the tree planting there at the school. We'll do that usually September, very early October is a good time for that. And then Carrie, I was hoping she could be here tonight because I was interested to know if she's dug deep into the Inflation Reduction Act applications that she's been assigned. So Carrie and I are serving on the review team for Indiana DNR for the first round of the Inflation Reduction Act grant application. So very excited. I kind of peeked at mine. But what they've done is they've assigned it to where 5 individuals are reviewing each of the applications. There were 18, 17 that applied. 10 of them are only eligible. For reasons of it was an incomplete application or they didn't meet the requirements. 7 of them were knocked out. So they're down to 10. So each application will be reviewed by 5, will be scored by 5 different individuals. And then we've got to turn in our responses by the 29th.
Is there just one letter?
And there's, no, it's not, it's, because some of them are 50,000, some are asking 250,000. I think they're just gonna kind of look and see, you know, what
How
they,
much money's
yeah,
available?
available. Be able to award as many as possible, but yeah, they didn't share any maximum of amount that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I am looking forward to learning more, so I will share, and I'll ask Carrie to also share more at our February meeting, when I feel more familiar with all the ins and outs of those applications. But the big piece, that's why I come to show you here, the biggest piece, and the reason why we knew we weren't quite ready to apply for this type of grant is, according to the U.S. Climate and Economic Justice Map, we have to have part of the project on disadvantaged land. And we, as you can see at the very bottom, that gray area is the only area within Madison County, well, not Madison County, but South Madison County, that would qualify.
Disadvantage meaning
And
what?
so that can be based on climate, socioeconomic factors. It could be on high energy costs, loss of ag land. There's, I think I even wrote that down to pollution, health issues, housing, lack of housing. So there's a lot of different components. But this area, which is kind of by that Fall Creek Drive, down there towards like Fall Creek Regional Waste and Maple Elementary, but doesn't quite get to Maple Elementary, so we could do a project there. Interesting enough, it does fall on land that is owned by the town of Pendleton.
Over
We're
there by,
looking at
over
by
by
the
Fall
wellness
Creek.
center. Yes.
Yes.
The Fall Creek, yes. And then that land was owned on the other side of Fall Creek, it used to be owned by the state of Indiana, now it's owned by the town. And that area, as you can see, or that green area circle that I circled, it's kind of in line there with that Taylor Street. Well, right there where Taylor Street comes across and goes across the creek is where we're gonna be putting that big, large iron bridge that we have.
We
It's
really
sitting
are
off.
gonna, we really are gonna do that.
So, right now, very early, but we have a business park trail that is being funded for the design through Madison County Council of Governments. So that right now is being worked out, the details. So once it has, and it has phases, so I will show you that. Well, that increasing a little bit bigger, but this here is the park trail that this is part of the bike and pedestrian plan that was created in 2017. And we have added in this trail system. So,
Is that the green?
so it's,
Would you go up there and do your banner thing?
yes,
on that street?
Some of that's farmland, right?
oh, here.
Oh, so here's where Taylor Street's. Good to do that.
Some of that's farmland, right? And
Yes.
some of it's being
And
farmed.
we have, yes, and then we have the solar park there.
Yes.
So here we have I-69 here. And then we have Heritage Parkway. So this is State Street here. And and it comes to the downtown area right here. So Heritage Parkway will be right here, where this little roundabout is right there.
The first roundabout you come to?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yep, going west is the first roundabout. So this trail is anticipating, we're gonna have part of it that's gonna connect up here by McDonald's and where Starbucks is going in and Three Rivers Federal Credit Union. They are going to actually put a trail along State Street on the front and then come in. And it's gonna come on down here Heritage Way. This is where the school corporation is. The town owns this land on this easement, so the trail is gonna go across this easement, and it jots down here, and it comes to Fall Creek Parkway. That's where Fall Creek Parkway is. Right here is where that iron bridge sits. And so that bridge will then be moved here across Fall Creek. And then it's gonna shoot out here on Taylor Street, and then it's gonna come up on Main Street to connect into town. Eventually, there'll be some other areas that could come on down Main Street to 132 into the park system. But, so right now, it's gonna be kind of run this way. And then if later, so what they're gonna do is they're gonna also connect, because we've got to connect the requirements to connect the mobile home park. So we're gonna have a cross access here to come up by American Legion, that's gonna come down Mill Street. So that's kind of where they're creating their loop here. There's a loop requirement in on the funding here from the federal government. But this right here is what they call the Triangle Beach property, and it sits at the corner of Mill Street and Taylor. The town recently bought that property. Most of that property is in the flood zone, so it's not developed. But you could put a shelter house, you can put a park, trailhead there, and that's what that indicates is possible trailhead. And then here also have a parking lot and trailhead where everyone can kind of meet. They can go west, but then they can also go east. But then the idea is to eventually then connect it, and it will connect to the bridge to nowhere that many have said, you know, our town, and go out to the west once this area out here is developed. So that being said, this piece of property doesn't have a lot that you can do with it. So we were thinking of having that start as the arboretum and having some signs there, having trees that will thrive within, moist soil area. But I've not been out there, but I need to get out there. But they said that there's a lot of space on the surrounding that would be fitting for trees. So, and then eventually come across here and then have this mini arboretum across this way here. Then we've got Kerry Craig, who's overseeing the placemaking committee, and they want to work on art pieces along the trail. So that's kind of what's a long-term goal. We're looking at probably 20, I think it's 27 maybe, before they would be ready for, maybe 26, 27 for phase one of that project. So that would, the priority is to get the bridge there in place. So that's kind of number one, and then connecting this piece here.
So the bridge is gonna be where it was originally planned to be. Yeah, go down Mill Street.
Yep.
And go over the creek, and then, on the other side would be about where would it, it's gonna be,
So it'll, there's a little bit of piece of land that now the town owns, and then that'll be right there across Fall Creek, but then it will, I think it has to cut across, and then it'll go on the west side of Fall Creek Drive. And then, and I'm probably getting into the weeds here a little bit, but eventually, once we can get this here as a bypass, this is a future road connection that they've envisioned here. this right here might just be all like bike and.
Right. That would be great.
That'd be on down the line.
And that's
But-
out by the solar field.
Yes. This piece right here, so that's the school system. This is right in where the wellness center is. And then the town owns here, this whole section here, except for the solar. Solar park does own that now. But this piece was kind of where they envisioned community center, park center. Kind of the area that they were discussing there. But making this all kind of wellness and fitness.
Right.
Mhm. Land. Yes, so if, so I would like, that's why I kind of want to start getting the ideas rolling this year. So then, there was another piece that I wanted to share about is, so I don't know if by chance, if there's anything, because for that Inflation Reduction Act grant, they know that they're gonna have another round in July of this year. I don't know if it's something that they will continue to get. Before, when it was offered by the federal government, you had a minimum match of 100,000 that you had to give, and a lot of the communities couldn't do that. So they funneled it through the Indiana DNR Division of Forestry, and there's no match required. So, and it's a minimum of 50,000 to 250,000. And there's different areas that are covered by that. So it's like tree inventory, education, tree management, and then new tree planting projects. But the key is that part of your project, the on the ground work, so the tree planting aspect, part of it has to be on disadvantaged land. So there's where that part comes in. And I think that for the application this first round, you have to have that project wrapped up by 2026. So I don't know if they're gonna bump that out. They don't have the details for the next round yet, but
You know, they may find that there's only 10 applicants, maybe they need to adjust the criteria.
yeah,
They may need, because that doesn't seem like for the whole state, that doesn't seem like very many
Yeah.
applications.
yeah. Mhm.
So maybe they'll make some adjustments.
That's what I'm hoping too. And looking at that map, you can go on that map and it'll show you the areas and they're, the bigger cities, they have that. But even I was very surprised, Town of Eagles isn't even in that area at all. Now we have some unincorporated county that's out there in that one piece that,
Well, it's a lot of that, the reformatory.
yes, yes, it is,
So-
yes, and there's some ground and farmland out there by, yes. That,
That one piece of farmland over on the other side. That's, it's really low, because Smith's, farm up there. Pretty down. And part of that is always, depending on how much, big rainy station we have, but lots of times but it's beautiful. It really is. The tree line along there was like a heron, they had a heron, nest out there, you could see the herons going in and out. Yeah, nice place.
So with the trail and the so the trail, the wellness center. So what is all this about?
It's just, I think it's just, I mean, not to ask Denise, but I think it's just thinking ahead.
yes.
Thinking out.
So the business park trail right now, the town is getting ready to receive funds to support the design of that trail project. So they will work with a consultant to then be able to engineer every piece, whether it's how the path, the direction, the signage, right of way acquisition, all that. So then that will cover it, and then the construction of it will then come in the second phase with federal grants that come about.
So have you guys heard about the blue zone?
The blue zone,
Sound like what you're trying to do is the project of blue zone, which is they develop, try to improve the health of the community, and they have a total package together, and they go out there with the city in Minnesota, and they went on their program and they developed this whole program. So you may want to go online and look at this,
Blue zone.
the blue zone, and that seems to fit right together into what you're trying to do.
yeah,
But what they do is a total project. It's all put together and have a theme, has a purpose, have a long-time projection. And they work with the town council of this one city in Minnesota. And this is what some of you guys trying to do.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
So you need to
I'll
go,
look that up.
well, what happened is this one person, he went around the world and found out why some area people live longer and other area people do not. So they found out that there's about 5 or 6 communities in the world. They all have the same, what they call culture. So he took that and created what they call a song, put all the information together and cooperated with the city in Minnesota, implement the program, and the city healthier, and the life expectancy of that city actually have improved. They have less health problem, and this sounds exactly
Yeah,
what
it
you're trying to
does.
do, but you
Yeah.
do not have a end goal. But this is like hodgepodge. But the other one is the altogether.
yeah,
So if you look at the blue zone, will help you formulate this, and then you have a long-term goal to not do anything hodgepodge.
yeah. No, I like that, and I agree. I think that that is what their purpose is behind that, is to provide healthier communities, you know, for everyone.
So you go on Netflix and type in, even on internet, just type in blue zone, it will come out, but the Netflix have a full program that talks about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how to put all that together.
Check that out.
That will be your long-term goal, actually, that's exactly. what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of what the state is trying to promote, and
But you got a plan, you got a goal, you got working with the town council and the one city and everything's together in a functional package.
Full high school
Yeah,
master plan,
which is, well, they're just part of this whole piece.
but that's,
yeah. The town does have the overall
Yeah,
transportation
there's a
and
one part of it.
activity plan. Yeah,
There's one part of it. But the solution comprises of more than just this. This is just one part of the whole total.
you can learn a lot from that.
So that gives you a lot of good direction.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'd like to be able to see how, you know, we can incorporate, you know, our projects into the bigger, overall project, and so.
Denise, kind of skipping back to the bridge.
Uh-huh.
I was in on that a long time ago, you know, saving that bridge. But, has anybody gone out and looked and seen how much?
So with the corrosion and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
there is, I want to say USC or something like that, but I may be misstating that. But it's a company that specializes in bridge restoration. And they went out recently, they worked with Scott, and they're going to be a part of that team to then, and they said it's not really as
Yeah,
bad
that's great.
as what it looks, because they said that even the rust is just very surface.
Right.
that there would just be maybe a few, maybe, I don't know, trusses or something underneath that would need to be beefed up a little bit and supported, and then they'll have to come up with a railing of some sort for the crossing over. But they acted like it wasn't, in bad shape at all.
That's good.
And the
Because I
condition
can
was
remember
well.
back,
That's been a long.
that's been on the report, the reformatory was gonna dismantle it and scrap it out.
Oh,
And, so some smart people
they
said,
didn't say
hey,
yet.
we'll take it, we'll dismantle it, or not dismantle, but
Yeah.
and get
Relocate
it
it.
back over to where it's sitting now. in Barnstable.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
If that'd be a great place for a petition.
Lights on it across
Oh,
the-
I know. I mean, it could be wonderful. It could be beautiful.
Yeah, we won't have cars parked on it like we get the pictures of
Yeah.
each year, but we'll get, yeah, it will be really
That's
cool.
exciting.
So, so we'll,
This is-
so I will continue to learn about that program to see if anything that we have would be fitting for that, for this next year. We'll see if it changes up a little bit, give a little bit more flexibility. And then, but then they also are working on developing their community and urban forestry grants. That's kind of a revolving cycle. So I'm hoping that's gonna come open this next year too. So if we can't find something that's fitting for this grant, then maybe it's something to do on a smaller scale project. Have a good project for this year.
Oh, that's great.
Get that figured out. And that being said, we talked about being a tree campus K through 12 program. I still want to get that in the works for 2025. With that is also a tree campus higher education, and that is with the college. We just received some communication from Taylor Metz, who you've all been speaking of. And he is having he's got a class, and it's called Landscape Architecture in the Community, that he just started this spring. And he's wanting to work with Pendleton for some more hands-on and, activities, projects, and so forth. Now, a lot of it's landscaping, and it could be beautification projects, that he will be working with Carrie Craig, Hannah Rose Urbanski. But I would like to have some conversation with him to see if not maybe this spring, but to go ahead and get things in the works to see if Ball State would have an interest to becoming a tree campus as well. And then we can kind of coincide with them, and then we can partner with them with having the education piece that we need to bring into a curriculum for school system. And then doing some hands-on activity, which is also a requirement to become a tree campus. So, so that I expressed that to Hannah Rose, that I'd like to, when he does come, start meeting with us, I would like to see what we can do together with that. And if he feels like that's not the class that's fitting for it, that's fine. But I think he would be at least give some good insight and direction on getting that obtained, because I think that our community, even just working with the 4th grade students and now the 5th grade with the poster contest, I think that working in with, say, maybe we did something with the 6th graders, and then some sort of earth science or science that everyone will have to take along the way in middle school and then again in high school, like to be able to have that done. So if you would like to meet with Dr. Hall, or whoever he feels fitting for those conversations, if you would like to go with me, let me know. Because, I think that if, at least a few of us can go and have those conversations, get those going.
When's that gonna be?
I wanted to get that going here this spring. I'd like to be able to set something, get their thoughts rolling, and if we can't get it set in the curriculum for next fall, I want to be working on that all of that next year, having it for the 2026. So I think that the quicker we can get it going, the more successful we can get it. I don't know if he wants to start something mid-year, so that would be the thing. Get it pulled off by the fall, but maybe it's something that won't be as much involved, but it's the curriculum piece that we've got to make sure that we have. I think everything else coming up with, there's like a board that we have to have, that would be school staff and urban forestry staff. Could even be someone like Taylor, someone in the profession. Those pieces would be easy, but just the curriculum and them as far as finding what class would be suitable, and have allowance for that curriculum to be discussed in that class.
But there's someone in the administrative office that curriculum is their job, yeah. so they
Okay.
use. That's
You
all
know,
they
I
do.
know someone in another school system that has that as their title, so
Yeah,
they do have that for us.
there's a-
Okay,
There's an assistant superintendent of curriculum.
okay,
I could ask them,
okay,
but it's not their fault either way, so.
okay, all right. I would like to, if possible, I mean, if we could only do the elementary here, the middle school and high school within our jurisdiction, but I would really like to make it about. Yeah, be a school.
Oh, right.
That would be awesome. So, and then just the same thing with that mini arboretum project. That is the next piece that we've already kind of talked about though, but excited about getting those kind of incorporated in the plans. And if we can get that at least in the design phase of that, then we know it's already there. So then when the federal funding comes available, then we can apply it to that.
Probably would help our chances of getting, you know.
Yes.
ready to go.
Yeah. All I have.
Is that all?
That was all real exciting stuff.
Yes, Dr.
When you say the business park, where is the area, the business park?
Oh, they're talking about the
Business park,
Memorial Tree Program?
no.
Business.
Oh, the business,
park.
I'm sorry. So that is that one, the map, that the portion of the map that I kind of showed. It's up, it starts up there west of like the Wellness Center, would be right east of the I-69.
Okay,
There,
like
Heritage Way, yes.
the
And then it
McDonald's
comes
and-
down here to the downtown and then back up, yes. So
Okay.
that's the business park, yes, correct. And it'll, they've got to go through NEPA and, you know, some different historical, we've got historical homes and so forth. So there's some different studies and surveys they'll have to do a part of that. That'll take some time. But we're hoping that we'll be able to at least get a couple of those projects done. And the thing that's nice about community crossings, if there's existing sidewalks, we can improve those sidewalks to meet the goals of that project, but then at the same time, get some assistance from the state for that too. So we're trying to be as multi-layered and, you know, cross-beneficial on our funding and our different projects.
Okay. Anyone else have anything?
Brain school.
Well, I will adjourn the meeting then.